Hello everyone, welcome back to another walkthrough and tutorial using make.com for automations of workflows. My name is Stefan, I'm the co-founder and operating officer at Nordic AI, and today I want to show you how we use make.com for automation within our own business for something that is useful for our paperwork and our internal development for how we onboard new customers. So here we have a workflow using Discord, ChatGPT, Google Docs, and basically the idea is that we want to go from a business case to actual technical documents for how an application or how a project will actually look out in practice, or how the technical specifics of the system or solution will look like, to get an idea of the scope of the project in addition to possible costs and scope and duration of the project at hand. A pretty important part of onboarding new customers, as well as determining the cost and pricing out to the customer. So I want to walk through a bit of how this works in general. We can see here it starts with looking in Discord for new messages. Here we've set it up with a connection to our Discord channel, with a specific channel connected to this chat right here. So it's this one is connected to. So when we post new messages here, it will input it here and go through these 5 different ChatGPT nodes. So each of these ChatGPT nodes basically have their own prompting, or how what kind of text they're going to produce based on this input message. So I'll show you here a bit how this works. This first one is just generating a short and concise project title or project name, and then going over to producing 4 documents based on the technical specifications. So these are basically 4 different kind of paperwork tools to kind of get an idea of what the project will look like, how the solution can be developed, and basically give us some ideas of how we can develop the project forward. So these are of course not like final answers, but they can give us some good starting point for how to proceed from there. So the way we've set up the system here, we're using 4.0 Mini in this case, and we basically prompted it to be an expert technical writer, system analyst, and then building on the business case here to produce some overview of the project, context, statement of work, like architectural details, components, interfaces, data flows, APIs, assumption of risk, and so on, as well as organizational risks, so that we have some basis to build on for like what kind of developers do we need, what kind of skill sets do we need, and other ideas for whether we should use subcontractors or in-house developers for this. For instance, we have 4 different kind of tools in this case. We have the technical specification, we have the system requirement specification, we have the product requirement document, as well as the app flow. So when we run this, I will show you a little bit how the output is looking, but generally these 4 produce the text, and then we turn those texts into actual Google documents here in those 4 different modules here. And then after that is done, we just post a message here in Discord saying that, okay, the work is done. Here are the links to the 4 different documents. So here we can see an empty Google disk folder, and if we take and write a new message here, we paste this in. For instance, this about e-commerce, basically the requirements for a chatbot within e-commerce, for instance, saying that like right now it has a lot of cost, long response times, and so on. So we want to implement an AI-powered chatbot to solve this issue. So if we enter this, then we can click run once, and it will identify the message coming in, and it will start the process to run through these different ChatGPT nodes and generate text for these different documents based on that. So just wait a moment now, we will see how this looks and how it can help us in the further process to actually start building out this project based on those. So now we've gone through the project title, the tech spec, this is requirement specification. We can start seeing some of the outputs here, and then here it is. Then we can start to see that it's giving us a project overview. It's giving us some overviews of the deliverables, organizational considerations, and so on, high-level architecture, and much more. So now it's almost finished. It's starting to produce some of the documents involved. See, it's pretty fast once it has the text from the ChatGPT notes. It's pretty fast to actually make documents for them. So now we see that it has gone through these. It has posted another message here that AI chatbot for customer support optimization documents are now available, and then the 4 different links to these documents. And then we can go in here. We just reload this, and then we can see that 4 new documents have been created here. So we can open this and review the documents accordingly. So if we look here, we can see, for instance, the text specification. It's a little over a page here, like rather short, and the overview of the project, some of the deliverables, organizational considerations, and a little bit more of the details. And then for the system requirement specification, we can see that this is a little bit longer. So usually this is a more comprehensive document. In this case, it isn't too much longer, as like the project at hand isn't too advanced, but it has a little bit more documentation for what is required to build out. Also, when it comes to the product requirement document, it gives us a little bit more focus on the purpose of the product, purpose of the solution, as well as which kind of audience and end users it's meant for. So here we see that it has information about what kind of user stories may be involved in the situation, and gives us a little bit more practical insights to how this solution may be of value to the customer or the customers and users. Also, the app flow is a little bit different. It's more of the user experience flow, more of those details, and how the kind of user story and user experience generally goes in the application or in the solution at hand, and gives us some overviews and diagrams for this. So that all of these 4 different documents basically gives us some idea, some basis for proceeding with the project further. It gives us a good starting point. Of course, as mentioned, it isn't the final answer to how the solution is going to look, and we have to quality assure it and review it before we proceed. But it gives us a good starting point, and based on that, we can proceed with actually starting to form an idea of how this solution will look before we actually present it out to the customer, whether this looks like what they need. So this is the walkthrough I wanted to give you guys today, and think that this can have a lot of application for many things involved in all types of paperwork, where you have kind of standardized documents or templates you're building on that you do and use again and again. So maybe this can also give some ideas to you for stuff that may be useful for your work, for your business in general. So if you're interested in hearing more about how this can be customized to your work or your business in general, then feel free to book in a meeting with me. You'll find the link to book in a meeting in the description below, and let's have a chat based on that if you're interested. Otherwise, be sure to comment your thoughts, opinions, experiences, and anything else in the comments below, and I'm looking forward to engage with you there. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next video.